I find this absolutely fascinating how Justin Fields is now calling out his own coaches as a potential reason for his robotic play so far this season. This is what he actually had to say on the matter.
Felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and, not playing like myself. My goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football. That includes thinking less and just going out there and, playing off of instincts rather than just of, so much, so to say, info in my head, data in my head, and literally just going out there playing football.
When you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much, maybe think too much?
Could be, coaching. I don't think it's too many coaching voices, but I just think when, you're fed a lot of information at a point in time and you're trying to think about that info, like when you're playing, it's like it doesn't let you play like yourself. You're trying to, process so much information to where it's like, if I just simplified in my mind, I would have did this.
What I find absolutely fascinating about what Justin Fields is saying, by the way, he had to clarify his comment because obviously when you say something like that, it blows up on social media. This is what he had to... He tried to clarify his comment by saying this. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on my teammates. Whatever happens in a game, I will take all the blame. I don't care. If it's a drop pass, it should have been a pass. Put it on me. He continues by saying, whenever you hear anything come out of my mouth to where I would blame it on somebody else in this organization, my teammates, never will you hear that. Well, based on what you said in the press conference, you said, you were asked, why do you feel like you've been playing robotic? And he goes, coaching. So you are blaming your coaches. And the fact that you need to, sort of damage control there kind of means that, yeah, you said something you probably should have. And then he tried to, make nice of it in front of the cameras and hug his coach. But I want to know, do you think, or what are your reaction, first of all, to Justin Fields' comments? And do you think potentially, sooner rather than later, Justin Fields won't be in a Chicago Bears uniform?
Well, he's obviously frustrated, right? I mean, they've lost 12 in a row. I think that's a record for the Bears in terms of continuous losses. He got sacked 6 times in the Tampa Bay game. He only had 3 yards rushing. I mean, rushing is part of his game. He's kind of like a Lamar quarterback, right? He's really mobile. He's had some real success when he runs the ball. He only got 3 yards. I mean, they've been telling him to stay in the pocket more, so he tried to do that. And he's still what? This is his 3rd year, right?
Third year.
The beginning of his 3rd year. So he's obviously frustrated. I mean, he said some things. He should not have said that for sure. I mean, maybe you say that to the coaches in private, but you're not gonna say that out in front of the media because you get hammered by people like us, right?
Yeah.
So I think the coach bailed him out. Basically, he said, "I want to play more free. I want to play free." I don't know, being out there and saying I don't want to think about what's going on out there. I'm thinking too much. That may not be such a good thing. I mean, if you're not thinking at all, you're going to make mistakes too.
Right.
But he wants to play more free. The coach said, "Yeah, that's what we want him. We want him to be feeling like he's playing free out there. We need to work together on this." So the coach bailed him out for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any hard feelings about that. He walked back what he said. I think in the Bears organization, I don't think there's any hard feelings towards him. He said, "You know what? I'll take all the blame."
Yeah.
So
well,
he walked
that's
it back
what you need
pretty
to
fast.
do when you take a shot at your coaches.
When you're under the hot lights, sometimes you say things that you make mistakes saying things. So he did there, and he recognized it, and he walked it back. So I give him a break on that.
Well, I'll say something that, yes, while you're under the hot lights, you may say something that probably you didn't necessarily mean, or you may say something that you shouldn't have said publicly. You could also take it that way. You may have said something that, maybe you haven't given the full context of, and that might be the case, or you slipped up, which could also be the case, where in his mind he thinks coaching's screwing me over. And what I find absolutely crazy is that he's saying he's thinking too much. So his 16 of 29, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, one of which was like a Kyler Murray against the Rams playoff game, pick 6, I think it might have been pick 6, to Shaq Barrett on a screen pass. That's you thinking too much? Missing, there was a play that went super viral on social media where he had like 3 or 4 routes wide open It may have been in his own red zone. DJ Moore, by the way, he was on that same play. He was frustrated because he was wide open on a simple out route. He had a bunch of routes open, and he didn't throw it a single time. He ran into his own offensive line. And also this, Justin Fields, I feel like, thinks he has more time in the pocket than he actually does.
That's because he's back there thinking too much. That's what he said.
And stands there and stands there. There's some routes that are open. There just doesn't go through his progressions.
He didn't see him.
I don't understand what the problem is. But what I found fascinating is that I saw it on social media. I said, well, he should run more. If he runs more, he'll be much more efficient. And so I crunched some numbers. When he runs for 50 or more yards compared to under 50 yards, this is what he looks like. It's not really that much of a difference.
1 in 12.
He's very bad. All around, he is just a bad quarterback. There's not a drastic change. The passer rating is a little bit better. The touchdown to interception ratio is a little bit better. But he's not all of a sudden a night and day type of quarterback. All around, he's bad. So regardless of whether it's whether he runs 50
he's a little
or more
better.
yards.
I mean, for him, the record is terrible.
The record's worse.
Yeah, but his individual performance is better when he runs for more than 50 yards, right? 16 TDs,
it's slightly
11
better.
16
Slightly
TDs,
better.
11 interceptions, 60%.
Compared to 59.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, that's nothing, but 85
to 70
versus 70.
By the way, if we're saying that 85 is not good, but it's better than when he runs it's better than 70. But if we're saying that he's a completely night and day quarterback, that is just not the case. He doesn't go from being top 15 when he runs 50 or more yards to being bottom 10. That's just not how it works. All in all, he's just a bad quarterback through and through. So I think it's, while it may be the coaching that needs to, improve a little bit, to say that you're thinking too much and you're going to just go let it free, just rip it loose when you're not a great quarterback altogether, I mean, that's not a good sign for the Bears. Mm-hmm.
He lost this year so far to Tampa Bay. And
and the first game was against Green Bay. Got walloped by Green Bay. Yeah. I'll also say this: it's not a great week for Chicago. I think it just came out today, or it happened yesterday. They lost, I think it's over $100,000 in on-field equipment. Someone broke into the stadium and stole $100K worth of equipment. So not a great week in Chicago when it comes to this. But
isn't one of his offensive linemen hurt as well? I think that came out too, that he's going to be missing one of his offensive linemen.
You may be right.
Yeah, that's not so good. And they're playing this week.
They're playing the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Oh my God.
They're 12.5-point underdogs.
I'm picking the Chiefs. So.
I think a lot of people would. Yeah. So I mean, I really cannot. And by the way, this is also another thing. Justin Fields. I talked about this on the Harvey Hour Fired Up a couple weeks ago. He had more MVP bets on than some top quarterbacks combined.
I know.
He was plus 2,000 odds. And of course, people are like, yeah, you'll see. What I'm seeing right now is still the quarterback I've seen for the past two prior years. A bad quarterback who, yes, he's a very mobile and athletic quarterback. But when his numbers call to actually make the plays, make the throws, and try to win games, he's a 5-22 record with sub 60% completion percentage for his career. That's not good. Yeah. All in all, it's bad. It's very bad.
He's got to get it going here. That's for sure. You're right. He won't be there.
No, win-loss, it's a little bit different, but just, if we're talking about overall just skill, he's slightly above Zach Wilson. Slightly above. Because Zach Wilson is very careless with the football. At least Justin Fields has a positive touchdown-interception ratio. But all in all, it's not looking good for the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.